Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Anita, Fiona, June, Heather, Pat, Shirley, Ethel, Anne, another Fiona, Eileen, Lynn, Sarah, Anita. Happy Easter, Good Friday, happy Good Friday to you, and happy Hot Cross Bun Day, because that's more important. Well, no, not really more important, but as important as are the Easter eggs and etc. etc. So, what have we got in store for you today? Well, I'm going to be using the John Next Door, now what do we call it? Butterfly Stamp and Die. It's from the Deco Butterfly collection in a way, in as much as it was launched at the same time. Clever little concept with a sort of collagey stamp at the background with a coordinating die which cuts out the definitive, the most beautiful butterflies, which I absolutely love. Butterflies are my thing, and so that's what we've got. We've also got today a new blending brush which I fancied having a go at. This is a sweet poppy one, and the idea of it is that it's for two things. One is for actually clearing off mica powder, which we will be doing one of these days, but also for my point of view is to be putting some ink on a large area. And so that's what we've got for there. It's got its own little carry case and a fancy fold. So I'm going to be doing a fancy Concertina card in a minute, but first of all, I'm going to put some colour onto this piece of white card that I've got here. You might be able to not see I've got a piece of white card there. But to start off with, I will pop those to one side because we'll deal with those in a second. But I want to create myself a background, and because I want to cut out the stamp set 3 times potentially, I want to actually do an A4 piece of card because it seemed to make sense. So I've chosen the same colours that I had on Wednesday, which was in the Distress Oxide range. And I've got Worn Lipstick, Scattered Straw, and Wilted Violet. And before anyone does comment, although actually it doesn't show quite so much as it did earlier because I've scrubbed and scrubbed, you can see here that it looks like I had an accident here. Well, I did, because I picked up a different ink just now, and the lid fell off, and of course I went to grab it to stop it from falling on the floor, which probably was a good plan, I suppose, and got covered in the ink because of course I caught it with the ink pad straight in my hand. So now you know. So we have got these 3 colours which are rather yummy, so I'm going to pop them on there. I'm working on my media mat just to save, because I'm working on a big area. I don't want to get ink everywhere. And so, yeah, off we go. So I'm going to use the oxides because I want a better area to blend with. I'm going to take some of my colour. I've gone with my Scattered Straw first, and I'm just going to put some nice big blobs of colour onto my card. I've got super smooth cards, and I'm just going to build up a fair bit of colour first. So the way I like this brush is because we don't get a massive one colour. It works out quite nicely, and what I will do is keep one for Distress Oxides and one for my Distress Inks. I think that seems to make sense to me. So they're going to look quite random. I'm going to be putting my nice big blobs of colour and try and blend them in a little bit. But all will become clear in a little while. So what have you all got planned for this lovely Easter weekend? Weather's a little bit breezy down here at the moment, and certainly, gosh, can you remember last Easter? We had beautiful weather, and there we were all stuck indoors. And we're supposed to be fairly much stuck indoors now, aren't we? But We might get to see a few people if they live nearby, so that would be nice if we do. But any plans? I've got plans for food more than anything. Is that wrong? I think it possibly is wrong. Just asked my friend for a recipe for lasagna, but that's for later on. And then we've got beef this weekend, not lamb, beef. So I'm putting this in quite random colours, as you can see. Okay, so I've put on one layer. Now I'm going to go back over and I'm going to start blending these colours in a little bit more. So, as I said, this brush is ideal. Oops, meant to go for that colour. Brush is ideal if we're going for a larger area. If you're just doing the smaller pieces, smaller, sort of like a A6 piece or something, then your smaller brushes are perfect for it. But if we're going for a larger area, it's good to go like this. So I'm just using all of the colours and I'm just blending them in so that we've got a really funky colour background, of which actually after all this work you're hardly going to be able to see, in all honesty. But that really is the beauty of it, isn't it? So I'm just trying to make sure that I've not got any white bits that are going to be showing through. You could obviously use, you know, one colour card for the background of this. For the whole idea for this, you could use a piece of coloured card that you've got. All sorts, but I'm going for that. So we've got a really funky colour going on there. So let's put those on. We do not need those anymore. Pop my little thing back in there, and then I'm going to pop that to one side for a moment. Whilst I cut my funky, just because it's Friday, I'm into it all now, aren't I? I'm just going to cut my fancy fold out. So that is going to go to one side. And as you may recall me saying before, with the stress oxides, they do tend to be a little wet. I don't mean wet, but I mean sort of it feels a bit funny. So I'm just going to put that to one side, but I might have to just pop a little bit of heat onto that in a minute just to get it going. So I now need to wipe my hands a bit because they seem to be covered in ink because I picked it all up. So not my day for ink, is it? Let's just wipe that off. Okay. Hot cross buns and chocolate eggs. What a wonderful combination. My husband said yesterday, staff, let's get him in his proper thing. He said yesterday, what was the day that you could start eating Easter eggs? And we decided that Maundy Thursday probably was as good a day as any. That's what we reckoned. So we had to try, make sure that they were all okay and not past the sell-by date, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, so I have a piece of A4 card. So I haven't cut anything off of the length, but that actually does give you a piece that is 29.5 centimetres long, but that is an A4. And I've then cut it down to 15 centimetres. So it's 29.5 by 15 centimetres. Okay. Now, I'm using my Vason, or however you pronounce it, Score Easy board because I absolutely love it in centimetres, but there is a slight, what's the word? Not such a good thing, that I want the first score to be at 3 3/4, and I've only got it every half, but all is not lost because I'm just simply going to make a mark where 3 3/4 would be, move it along fractionally and just do it so that it is actually a straight line. So I've just done it like that. So 3 3/4, then 7.5, then 14, and then 20.5. So 3 3/4, 7 1/2, 14 and 20 1/2. Okay, so take my scoreboard out of the way, and then I'm going to fold up my card. So with my largest piece there, I'm going to fold that into what they call a valley fold. So that way round first, nice crisp folds. Then I'm going to fold it back on itself. Nice crisp folds. Then I'm going to fold it back that way. Nice crisp folds. And then finally this little bit back that way. And then you have a card which is going to give you a concertina type finish like that. Excuse me. But then you are going to have it so that it folds up and goes into an A6, the smallest card, well, not smallest, but smallish, goes into an A6 embossing envelope. Okay, so now we're going to pop that to one side for the moment, and we're going to prepare some of our lovely butterfly pieces. So I'm going to bring back in my coloured piece, and I am just going to give it a very quick blast with the heat gun. So let me just to make sure that I've got as dry a position as I can. It's funny stuff. It's because it's a pigment and a dye based ink. It is a funny sort of a texture that it leaves, like a load of chalk on it. But I do like it. I'm just giving that a very quick blast over. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. Where would we be without a stamping platform? Where would we be? So I'm going to bring in my stamping platform, and I'm going to use it that way round, and I'm going to pop my piece of A4 card in. So obviously it's hanging over the edge there, and I'm going to pop a little couple of magnets on the side so that it's actually held down. But I will just make sure that my corner piece is up in this corner. Then I know that I will be in the right position. I'm going to take my beautiful stamp from my butterflies and stamp. So that's what I'm using, the butterflies stamp and die set. And I'm going to take my stamp, I'm going to pop it into the corner sort of thing here. Whoops. Turn that over and pick it up. And then I'm going to use a VersaFine Claire in Purple Delight to ink it up and to stamp it out in. Now this stamp is just one of the most versatile ones, and I'm hoping that John's going to be bringing out some more of this type of thing because they just work in so many different ways. It looks beautiful in the Kaleido when it's foiled. It works well with embossing. It works well with just inking. It really is a really lovely stamp. So just rubbing over that. And you can see that we've got a beautiful image there. So I'm just going to add a bit more ink. Whoops, couldn't find it. And just make sure that we've got it in all our places. Okay, I'm not getting it in that one. Hold on a minute. That little one there doesn't want to do it. So let me just press it down with my fingers. That's better. It's because I'm going onto the oxide ink that it's being a bit naughty. Okay, so then I'm going to turn my piece of paper around, and I want to stamp this, or I'm going to stamp this 3 times in all. So it's being a bit over the top. I could get away with 2, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to do it so that it's easy to do. I've coloured all of the paper in, the card in, so might as well go for it. So I'm then going to go on this piece here. Pick that up. Oops. Doesn't like sticking onto wet oxide. So that's better. Okay, so that's my third one, and then I'm going to chop this in half. So that I've got two pieces like that. I don't know which one I'm going to change. This one, I think. And then I'm just going to pop that piece there because I want it as a third time. Okay, so, and one more time. So, just ink that once more. Bring that back in. Just doesn't like going onto wet paper. That's the only thing about the oxides. They blend beautifully, but they do give you that wetness. Okay, so we have got 1, 2, 3 images plus a spare piece, and all of those pieces are both necessary and important. So I'm going to pop that to one side now. Don't need that again for a minute. And I'm going to bring in some of my images. I don't know if you can see, but can you see that the ink is still shining because it isn't quite dry? So I'm going to have to grab my heat gun just to dry that off, because otherwise we're going to be smudging. And again, the reason for that is because I've got a pigment ink and I'm going on to distress oxides. Okay, this one. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of cutting, and we're also going to be doing a little bit of die cutting as well. So take that image, that one will be a nice one, and I'm going to be bringing in my trimmer, and my first piece that I want to cut is 8.5 by 14. So I'm just going to bring this in here. So I'm going to chop this down to 8.5 wide. Oops. Get that right. And it needs to be by 14. Sorry, 14.5. 14.5. And that's about right. So that's my first piece. And I bring back in the card so that you can see that this piece is going to go in my panel here. Like that. Okay, so now you can perhaps get to see where these random colours that we had looked a bit odd, but now when you're putting them on here, hopefully not quite so odd. And then I need another piece to fit in just this piece. This piece is going to be different. I'm now going to go to colour cutting for this piece. So I'm going to take another one of these images, and I think we'll go with, just trim that down, and we want this one to be 14 as well. Oh, sorry, 14.5 as well. So let's just trim a little bit off of there. Just Just want to make sure that that's evenly trimmed. So 14.5 width-wise, and a very, very thin piece here. So only 3 centimetres. So I'm going to go down, means chopping my butterflies in half, I know. Let's chop there. 3 centimetres. Like that. And then that piece is going to go on the front there, like that. And then this centerpiece I'm going to cut from the piece which I didn't put any stamping on, so that there's a bit of a contrast. So this piece is 5.5 centimetres wide. And again, 14.5 long, which we have got there. So that is then going to go in that little slither bit here. Okay, so that one goes there, that one goes there, that one goes on the front. Now, one more. We had our third image chopped out. So pop them to one side a minute, and we're going to bring in my stamps, my die, the matching die. Now, unlike some of the other dies that John Lockwood has done, where we have the matching plates, where they often have like a little triangle that means it's a locating point, these haven't got it, but they are very, very easy to match up. It's very obvious where they go. The beautiful butterflies shine through from to the side. So pop that into place over the butterflies, stick that down, bearing in mind I've got wettish paper. I'm going to have to be careful that it does stick. And then I'm just going to run that through my machine. Like so. Oh, Jeanette, no Easter eggs? Wow, does that mean they've sold out of them? It's not good enough, is it? Not good enough. So you could use this piece as well on another card. Let me just show you. If you were to do such a thing, you could pop that on the background, and then these butterflies can sit back in like that, so that you've got your background there, which I think looks really pretty as well. But that's not what we're going to do today, but that does look really beautiful. You could also, which does look nice and shows them up a bit more, you could then pop these butterflies. So that was the butterfly back in the space that it came from, but you can always pop it into the space of another one so that you can see a bit more of the butterfly itself. Hold on, I'm hiding them, aren't I? So they've all popped out here. So because we coloured the piece of card, oh, can't get hold of them. Because we coloured the piece of card, we have now already got, without having to do anything about it, beautifully coloured butterflies. So we've got the ink that we've coloured it with, but we've also got the background shining through, which is lovely. So again, you could put that, oh, that's typical, isn't it? That I put it back in the hole that it should be in. But you can sort of mix and match so that you've got some of the background shining through as well. So you could do that, or put them back in exactly the same place, or alternatively, as I am going to do, not put them back anywhere, and going to put them randomly on my finished card. So let's put our panels in. So this is the inside of the card, and I'm going to put my first panel down. And I think hopefully you'll agree that, as I said, although the putting the colours on and blending it looked a little odd to start off with, you can now see hopefully that this does not look odd, because you've got all that covering it and colours are all coming through really lovely. So we're going to put our pieces of card onto panels 1, 3 and 5. Okay, so we're not putting the panels, we're not putting anything on these 2 panels here. So that was on number 5. Number 3 is going to go there. So because we did it from exactly the same piece of card, you're going to get that sort of similar image there, which looks lovely. And then this very thin bit on the front. Okay. So that's all our images. When we close our card back up, just press that down to show you that we've got a very tiny card, I think, in comparison to what I usually do. And then we are going to place, I'm going to use my glue glaze for this so that it grabs a bit quickly. We're going to place our beautiful butterflies. Just look at the detail on that. And I haven't had to do anything but stamp it and colour it and colour the background in, but you needn't have even done that. So just going to place, I'm just going to pick them so that they're going to show. So I've got a lighter colour there that I'm going to put on that darker one there. Oops. I think that's going to look quite nice like that. So I'm going to put that over the top of that one. And I've only put my glue in the centre of my butterfly. I've not put it on the wings because I want the wings to sit up. And then I'm going to come in with, let me see, this little beauty. I'm going to come in there. Just pop that one down. Then, I don't know that that shows very much, but we will put him on. You can see the detail of that. This is even cutting out the antennae, the body, the little detail of the wings and everything. It's so pretty. Pop that one down there. A bit of white is the white glue that I used. Whoops, turn round. That will dry clear, so all is well. Love, love, love. Pop this one here. Again, just glue on the body and the little antennae just in the centre. Leave the wings. Just going to put that on the edge. Like that. And then I think we will do that one in the centre there. On top of the same one that was on there. Just hold that down as well. And little one up here as well. I'm getting carried away with butterflies because I meant to put in a sentiment down here, and it's going to have to go a bit different now because I got carried away with my butterflies. So I'll just pop that in there. So I have got carried away, I know, and I've got one butterfly left over, but I do need to have enough room to put just a little bit, and it's going to have to be a small sentiment now. It was meant to go the whole way, but got carried away. So just going to pop in a little sentiment down the bottom here. Now, I've got some of my card left over that was coloured in, so I'm going to have a go at stamping a sentiment onto there. So let me just see, because we've got to go for plan B of what the sentiment was. Now I could go for a little one of these, just a little tiny best wishes. Maybe. Or we could go for oh goodness me, when there's also many sentiments that you could go for, and there's never the one that you think would work. What do you reckon? I wonder if this one would fit in, because I quite like this one. Would this one fit in? just about. I'm going to go for this one. So I'm also going to go, excuse my hand coming over everything, I'm going to go for an acrylic block, which is a bit brave, but the good thing is we've got plenty of room. So I'm going to bring that in down here. Oh, squeak, squeak. Yeah, yeah, okay. Maybe. Not 100% sure on this one now. Let's trim it down. Whoops. Just trimming that down so that it's of a decent size. Looks about right to me. Oops. Despite the fact that I've cut that on a cutter, I have not cut that straight at all. So that needs to be sorted, does it not? That's the trouble with doing little tiny bits, isn't it, eh? That's better. And then, yeah, that will work nicely. So I'm just going to pop my little sentiment down into this little corner here, and it's going to just about finish in the right place. So let's pop all these bits here. So in order to pop this on, I'm not going to stick the whole thing down. I've just got to stick it to one side because I don't want to stick it, I don't want to put glue on all of it, otherwise it's going to stick to my back piece there as well. So subsequently, I'm going to pop that into place. And I know that I've only got to put glue up to about the L, shall we say. So just on that little bit here. Let's use the glue gloves, we might as well. So I'm just going to put glue onto that little bit there. And then when I pop that down into place, just going to try and make sure that I have got it so that it's not hanging over the edge on this side. And also straight, if I can hope for that as well. So let's clear the decks bit so that you can actually see the finished piece. So there will be, no, you can't see that at all. I'll hold it up like that. So there is your finished fancy concertina. Yeah, that's what we're going to call for it. A pretty design in as much as you could use this for anything. Let's get my butterfly wings up. Come on. That's it. Behave. All the beautiful butterflies. So we've got a plethora of butterflies, whatever a load of butterflies are called, but we have got plenty of them. And by colouring a piece of card, so you could use any of the pre-printed card that might come in with the different colours, which looks really lovely. But also you've got, I'm sure, some inks that you can blend along. And really, you don't have to, you can blend it, but you don't have to blend it massively. But then when you open it out, you have got room here to write a sentiment, your verse or whatever, your, I don't mean sentiments, what do I mean? Your messages. Or you could, turning it over, right on the back there. So you could put, if it's a dark colour, you could put a creamy piece of card so that you could actually write your message on the back there as well. So that when it was standing up, that no one could, well, you can't really see that message either. So there's lots of places that you could put it. So I do hope that you've liked the card today. I will pop this up on the website. The butterfly stamp and die set are all back in stock. The brushes that I've used today, there are a few brushes available if anyone would like any of those, if you fancy or need such a thing in your life. I will be back on Sunday morning, Easter Sunday at 11 o'clock with the launch of the April card kit. It's quite a limited edition this time, I'm afraid. And there's a little bit of choice, because I know that some people may well have some of the elements that we've been using. So there will be a bit of choice as to what you might be using in your kit. So that's something to look forward to for Sunday. And then on Monday morning, Easter Monday at 10 o'clock, there will be an Easter Monday sale starting. I won't be coming live to show you anything. It will just be available on the website at maximumcrafts.com. From 10 o'clock it will go live. There will be some mystery parcels, there will be some bargains to be had, and that's all over on the website, but no YouTube live on that day. But I will be on Sunday with the card kit. So thank you very much for joining me today. Do hope you have a lovely day. Do hope you manage to find some Easter eggs, Jeanette, somewhere. And I hope that you have a good day, whatever that you're up to. Take care, stay safe, and see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.